In another step towards re-energizing the 44 Cup, the rules for the International RC44-1 design class have been revised for 2023 so that going into the 44 Cup Oman, which starts out of Muscat's Al Mouj Marina tomorrow, all 9 teams will race with at least one female crew. While not a completely new development, like so many professional sailing circuits, it is possible to count on one hand the number of female crew that have competed during the 44 Cup's 16-year existence.
Welcome to Muscat on the opening day of the 44 Cup Oman, the first event of the 2023 season for the high-performance owner-driver 1 designs, hosted here by Oman Sail. Today we've had a lively 17 to 22 knots of wind and a lumpy sea state. Normally these conditions would be perfect for the RC44s, had the forecast not been for just 10 to 15 knots.
The forecast was for a maximum of 16 knots, and today we basically had 17 to 22, 23 knots. So we're all a little bit overpowered. None of the boats had their J3 jibs, so we're all slogging away with the medium jibs. But no, it's great racing. Quite choppy, really pretty lumpy, big waves for downwind, a few shifts, but yeah, it was quite a season opener.
Overpowered in breeze and steep, sharp waves has made for an exhilarating, action-packed and incident-filled day for the 9 teams. Racing got away on time at midday, despite conditions being livelier than anticipated. In the first race, Team Nika started to weather the group heading left and made the best of the first upwind to lead onto the run. Here Charisma jibed early and looked threatening, but it was Team Searef which managed to nose ahead, helped when Team Nika suffered a severe broach. Searef played the shifts well up the next beat and hung on down the run to secure the first bullet of the season ahead of Nico Poons' Charisma and Torben Tornquist's Artemis Racing. After a delay permitting teams to lick their wounds, race 2 saw Team Aqua taking the far left on the opening beat. Coming into the top mark, Hugel Peak's Aleph Racing was leading, but failed to lay the mark, handing first place to Charisma. Narrow, stable and with trim tabs, RC44s go well upwind, but downwind are rocket ships, easily able to plane. Today they were regularly overtaking the waves, ploughing into the troughs, soaking the crews, but making for a high-octane ride. At the leeward gate, Charisma and Aleph split tacks, but nonetheless was still overlapped at the second top mark. However, here Aleph lost 2 crew overboard and had to round up to retrieve them before continuing. Meanwhile, Charisma had received a penalty for failing to keep clear, for which she had to carry out a penalty turn. As a result, Peninsula Petroleum was able to take the lead, but she jibed early, enabling first place to be taken by Team Aqua, which she held to the finish. For race 3, the 44 Cup crews were keeping an eye on a giant cumulonimbus cloud over land that was causing the wind speed to build into the early 20s. Team Nika was forced to bow out from starting this race due to mast damage. After a start when Artemis Racing was called over early, it was Searef that claimed the left, putting them into the lead at the top mark. On this occasion there were no lead changes, as tactician Adrian Stead did an exemplary job putting the boat on the right part of the racetrack, as the rest of Igor Lar's crew kept the hull beneath the rig to come home ahead of Aleph and Peninsula Racing. All of the 44 Cup teams this season are sailing with at least one female in their crew. On board Searef, for example, is Slovenian Olympic 470 sailor Tina Marak.
Today was pure fun, also downwind surfing on the waves, and yes, it was also really hard on upwind with these short choppy waves, and yeah, I really enjoyed the sailing today.
I think yeah, it's the first time we've sailed in over 15 knots of breeze since probably July. Today was a real refresher of how fun these boats are and how competitive everybody is.
With 2 bullets on day 1, Searef leads, but a deep score in race 2 leaves her on 8 points, just 2 clear of the triple-type Peninsula Racing, Charisma and Aleph Racing, all on 10. A similar exhilarating day is forecast for tomorrow.
This is your weekly sailing highlights show, The World on Water, March 3, 2023. Drama on board Boris Herrmann's yacht. As the head sail halyard lock explodes and the sail falls into the water, ahead of the charging foiling Imoca. Naturally, this stopped the boat immediately, as it sailed over it, catching it with the foils.
Yes.
You reckon we try to pull it back in?
I think we can also ditch the sail. To repair it is going to be super difficult.
We're never going to have to repair it. It's not okay.
Unless there's really only this amount of grip. But for now, yes.
I know you. Well, last time it was the whole. I think it's through the whole sail. We just can't see it at the moment. And for me, there's no way it's just pierced.
It's also dark in a second, so let's rather get rid of it.
Yeah.
I feel.
The quickest would be to just do it now, then quickly. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
That's why we are
So,
so
but
slow.
then it's a good idea to ease the sheet. If you take the sheet away, then it goes forward off the keel, and then you have the most chance it's not stuck inside the keel. Yeah.
I'm not sure about your theory. Okay, I think the main worry is to get rid of the sail.
Just get it out. Yeah. Okay. Can reach me out.
Sheet is easing. Be ready to pull it again. Be ready to pull it again, Boris. Okay, hold. Hold.
Watch out, Boris, hatch is open.
Yeah, we can use it for the next thing.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, so that we didn't lose anything except the sail.
Okay. We can be happy about that. Considering it was right around the keel,
Yeah.
that was a bad moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
But how
well done.
can we get this off the hook? Why is it off the rock?
Bouncing in a wave.
Yeah.
And maybe so the
Maybe because we have the halyard cleated.
yeah, that is too tight.
Maybe we shouldn't have it cleated.
Not so much, just a little, just for unfurling, and then you cleat it with a little slack. I don't know.
Okay. So throw down.
Throw down would be a good sail anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else decided for us. This was a good moment to change.
We managed to pull that sail in so much easier than the throw down.
Yes.
I think because the waves were easier.
Yeah. And it was perfectly lined up, like in front of the boat.
Yeah.
It was good if we ease the sheet now.
Yeah. The yellow sheets are all okay?
Yes, so far yes.
Could I get this back, please?
Yeah.
Okay, I go prepare the throw down.
Yeah, I go and help you.
Yeah. Maybe 2 on deck and 2.
Yeah, I come. Baby.
Our downwind sail came off the hook and fell into the water, got under the boat, around the keel and around the foil, and has a big hole in it now. And we ended up putting it back on deck and put it into the forehatch. And now we are on a different downwind sail. And yeah, that gave us a good hour of work and being fully stopped, drifting backwards. So we lost for sure 20 miles at least. And a sail.
But everyone is safe?
Everyone is safe, and everyone did a great job in this maneuver. No hectic. No other damages than the sail. As far as we know.
In the very close pre-starts, the Kiwis were both using effectively the double board down move, which gives the boats greater stability and enables fast positional changes. Nathan Outteridge, always superb in an interview, gave the following explanation.
Nathan Outteridge, helmsman for Emirates Team New Zealand. We've just had day 21 of the LEQ, out there also with the AC40. Pretty light to begin with, a pretty frustrating morning I would call it, but it got good towards the end. How did it break down for you guys?
Yeah, it was one of those days we had to be really patient. We sort of knew the forecast was going to be light and variable, and it seems like Auckland's not really having a great summer at the moment, so we sort of try to make the most of it, chasing, good wind between rain squalls. And yeah, we sat out there and drifted around for a long time, and then eventually on the tow home the breeze came in, so we pulled the sails back up, and I think we got pretty lucky with the weather we got and got a bunch of pre-starts and some two-boating in, and it was a good day in the end, but it was a long one.
Long one, definitely. And we noticed the main go up and down a couple of times on the LEQ, and some batten adjustments. I noticed Pete wrapping some tape around something for hours, but yeah, what was going on at the top of the
Yeah,
of the main?
just some niggly things going on at the top of the main with the battens that were trying to get sorted ever since we sort of put the main in the boat. Yeah, it was a pain. Something would break and we'd have to drop the sail and get it fixed. And once you're out on the water, the last thing you want to do is call up for a day. So you've got the grinder out, fixing them up and putting them back up. And we did it a couple of times today, but I think we sort of got to the bottom of what the issue is. It's just waiting for the parts to come in so that we won't have to keep doing that moving forward.
Great. We also noticed today and yesterday a fair bit of both boards in, doing some high modes or slow modes, and actually yesterday noticed a lot of changing course, throwing it windward board in, windward board up. What are we trying to learn there?
I think it's just trying to get the balance between sharing the lift between the two foils, and the boat's quite tricky to turn at high turn rates with just one foil in the water. So knowing how to be able to really spin the boat hard on a pre-start with both boards down and making a smooth transition to get the thing in and out of the water. Yep. It's quite a tippy little boat when you're living on the edge of sails north or so that's what it comes down to in all these pre-starts. It's just knowing how your equipment works, and that's the beauty of two boats. When you're racing, you can really you can sail around for the last few months and everything's all sweet, and then you're got to turn right now. And yeah, you find the limits of what the boat can do, and that's what's been really cool to have the two boats in the water.
It's certainly fantastic. What we saw today was, I think we had 8 pre-starts and 4 of them running off into a one-lapper. I scored the races 2 each, so I don't know if you guys shout beers or whatever for who's losing at the end of the day, but
2 each means no one buys anything, right?
Exactly. So we're liking that scorecard.
Well, we need someone to win so that at least a beer is purchased for someone.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's looking slicker and slicker. Certainly some moments of edge of control, especially after a manoeuvre. That's just trying to find that edge.
Yeah, and today was so variable too. Like you had anywhere between 8 and sort of 18 knots for the rain squalls, and you weren't always on the right configuration with the jib, and you get used to tacking one style, and the next minute you come out, you got 6 more knots, and you got to set yourself up for that. So that's just the game of sailing, and the more difficult the boats are to sail, the easier it is for you to see our errors. So thanks for pointing those out.
Well, we can call them errors, they're just learnings, aren't they?
Sure.
Yeah. So we've got at least a couple more days. We're going to try and get both boats out for the next.
Yeah, we've got a couple more days available, this week, and then we go into a bit of a maintenance period here, and who knows what the weather's going to bring. It's about to be sunny again now, so hopefully the next couple of days we can get back out there, and we've learned very quickly that going out on your own is nowhere near as much fun. It doesn't challenge you as much as it would when the second boat's there. So while we have the resource here to be able to do it, it's not compromising anything else. You'll see us roll out 2 boats as much as we can.
Fantastic. And if we could have a choice between a light day or a breezy day for the data collection and where we are with the sail program, what would the team prefer?
I think light wind's good and bumpy stuff, because all the models sort of say Barcelona will be light and bumpy, and as you know, here in Auckland it's pretty hard to get light and bumpy. You either get lots of wind and lots of bumps if you go out to it, or you end up with light and flat. So with all this storm activity around, it's actually perfect, because it'll be creating some waves out there.
Yep.
So if we can get out there in the light air and play around in some waves, we'd love to do that. Otherwise have to wait till the weather's there. It's the one thing you can't control, and today was a really long one, just trying to find the right weather to do what we wanted to do.
All right, Nathan, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening off, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Day 2 of the 44 Cup Oman started off sedate as forecast, but finished with the wind gusting to 20 knots, providing further yeehaw moments for the 9 crews as they clung on, blasting off on the downwinds into the building sea state.
It's day 2 of the 44 Cup Oman. After a brutal opening yesterday when 20-knot winds and short, lumpy seas fought out many of the crews, today the teams are more prepared and taking out their smaller jibs. The forecast is predicting no more than 15 knots. Flying the correct sails today, let's see if some new boats come out on top. 10 to 12 knots for the first race. Peninsula Racing is called OCS and collides with Aleph whilst turning to restart. Reports of damage to Aleph means that they pick up a penalty point too. Coming in on port at the top mark, Team Aqua is also penalised for a collision with Oman's sail, forcing her to complete 2 penalty turns and incurring 2 penalty points. After starting on port, Artemis Racing claims the right and leads around the top mark. CREF and Team Nika pulled ahead on the run and split at the leeward gate. Heading left favours CREF, which goes on to take her 3rd bullet out of 4 races. Team Nika is second, making a comeback following yesterday's severe mast damage. It's a bad race for Aleph, who are penalised again just before the finish when their spinnaker touches Charisma.
We had a big night. The shore team and the guys from the 44 shore side put in a big shift last night. Swapped the bottom sections over, and then we got the rig in this morning. Put our numbers on and got out there early just to check it all, and it was good.
Race 2 and the wind is up to 15 knots. Artemis Racing again try their hand on the right side, but at the top mark it is Peninsula Racing which is in the lead, and she holds it to the leeward gate. As Peninsula takes the port mark, Charisma splits, taking the right. The right side proves to be favoured, and the 2022 champions are able to nose into the lead at the second top mark branding, with Peninsula Racing on their transom. Charisma hangs on to finally take her first bullet of the regatta. Race 3, and with the wind up to 18 knots and gusting to 20, Charisma is again looking strong out on the right initially. After a disappointing opening to her day, Aleph Racing catches a lift towards the end of the first upwind to lead into the top mark with a solid advantage over Team Aqua and the rest of the fleet. She extends her lead down the run and from there is unassailable, finishing ahead of Charisma and Team Nika.
Full regatta, managed to haul our lane off the start line, and then it was up to us to make mistakes. And we met,
long leg on port. We were quick on port.
Yep.
Got to the top mark in good shape, and
managed to stay in front without making mistakes. And then the last race again, we had another poor start. We had a little bit of a communication issue.
Chaos.
Yeah,
absolute chaos.
Yeah,
It was beyond chaos.
Yeah.
It was like everybody on the boat was speaking a different language. It wasn't good.
Yeah. So we ended up basically in irons at the start. So we ended up
starting on port, ducking everyone.
Yeah, third row start, and then it was hard work from there. So we just did our best to just work on the boat speed and sail as fast as we can, like normal. And we ended up being back in the mix at the top mark. And
we'd be around the top mark second, right? I think we were second.
Yeah.
Second or third.
Can't remember, but we managed to hang on to the second on the last run, and the second beat, Nika was going super fast with her J3 on.
On port in particular, out of the bottom mark. And it's not an easy racetrack, there's plenty of chop out there. The sea state's difficult, so upwind and downwind, it's technique downwind we need to work on a little bit, and upwind when we can get ourselves into some open water and let our boat speed do the work, we're going okay. And big part of having a good day is getting around the top mark in good shape, and then you can sail your race from there,
And it's tight. All the boats are competitive, great people on all the boats.
For sure.
It's good fun out there. The racing's fantastic.
It really is, and the boats, they're the most fun boats to sail in those conditions. Plenty of water. Yep, a lot of sweating on board. A few swear words here and there.
Yeah, plenty of that. Anyway.
Scoring a 3-1-2 today, Nico Prince's Charisma has taken the lead at the 44 Cup Oman with a 3-point advantage over Igor's Sirath, in turn 3 points ahead of Peninsula Racing. Further brisk conditions are expected for tomorrow, Saturday, the penultimate day of racing. Stay tuned.
The Melges 15 class relocates to Jensen Beach, Florida, for the 2023 Winter Series. The Melges 15 Winter Series is a 3-regatta series hosted by the class at the U.S. Sailing Center of Martin County.